Have you ever wondered why the guy that you were dating stopped pursuing you? Maybe the conversations were going well. He knew how to treat you right and he knew how to take you out on enjoyable dates. But all of a sudden, he starts to become inconsistent. He's not calling you as often, and you are wondering to yourself, why has he stopped pursuing me? Because things seem like they were going well. I want to help you as Coach Honeylove to discover the reasons why some men stop pursuing women when it comes to dating. Welcome to the Honey Love Dating Academy YouTube channel. This is a place where you are going to be given tools for your dating success. We talk about the characteristics of a marriage minded man. We talk about how to overcome dating obstacles, how to position yourself as a wife, and to finally get the dating results that you want. I want you to become comfortable by getting your favorite drink, pull out your notepad and start taking notes because you are going to want to pull up for this one. So let's go ahead and get right into 3 reasons why a man stops pursuing a woman. Before we get into that, I want to share with you the right way a man should be pursuing you. So, why should a man pursue a woman? I believe that there are some things that are traditional. I do think that we have progressed as far as a modern society, but I believe that there are certain things that are already set when it comes to how men operate, when it comes to how women operate, and what does dating with marriage in mind look like. So when it comes to a man, as you are positioning yourself as a wife, as you are dating differently, and maybe you are dating God's way, as you are doing those things, I want to help you by understanding the characteristics of a man and why he should be pursuing you. So, number one is that it is in a man's nature to hunt. What do I mean by that? Men are natural builders. Men are natural go getters. Men are natural at being responsible for the things that they need to care for. So it is only right for a man to pursue a woman when it comes to dating. And I'm going to encourage you that you, as a woman, you don't necessarily need to be pursuing a man when it comes to dating, especially he who finds a wife finds a good thing. And as a woman who is a wife, who is going to be found by her future husband, it is his job to find you, and it is your job to position yourself to be found. With all that being said, it's in a man's nature to hunt and to go after who he wants and what he wants. Number two is what I've already just said. A man goes after who and what he wants. So, for some women, it is not common for them to be pursued, but today's a new day. You can actually be pursued by a man, and it feels good. It feels like you are operating in your femininity. It feels like you are operating at a different rhythm and a different pattern. And I believe that when you date and you allow a man to initiate things, when you allow a man to show you who he is capable of, what he's capable of doing, that it makes dating that much more enjoyable. Number three is a marriage minded man knows how to work and build with the woman he wants. So, what I mean by that is when a man goes out for a job, he puts in his resume, his cover letters, and companies will contact him based on his qualifications. When they contact him, they'll set up an interview. If he does well on an interview and if he feels like it's a good fit for him, he'll go and move forward with the process as far as getting a job. The same thing goes for a man while he is dating a woman like yourself. Like all relationships take work. It takes work to get to know you. It takes work to set your relationship foundation. It takes work to ask you questions, to spend time with you, to give you his effort, to give you his energy, as well as you being able to do the same things. So, if a man is able to work for what he wants in his life when it comes to his profession, when it comes to his business, when it comes to a non for profit organization, the same type of work ethic goes into the dating experience by getting to know you. And one of the top dating qualities that I encourage ladies to not bypass is a man being truly curious about who you are. When a man is curious about who you are, he's going to ask you questions. He's going to want to know your background. He's going to want to know who you are. He's not going to want to go with the flow. You're not going to necessarily initiate all of the conversations. Even if he is a simple man, he's still going to want to know about you. And every man knows that he needs to be able to put in the work to get to know you. And as a woman, it's going to be a pleasant thing for a man to be into you, especially if you haven't experienced that before. If you've been a woman where you have been the go getter, where you have asked all of the questions, now is the time to give yourself permission to rest in your femininity, to allow man to initiate the conversations, to initiate the pursuit, to show you what he's capable of, to show you that he knows how to be responsible, to show you that he can hold himself accountable, to show you that he can be consistent. And when you know, as a single woman, when you know that a man wants to put in the work, it's going to be so refreshing. You're going to feel like you're receiving reciprocity when it comes to a man actually pursuing you. So give yourself permission to be pursued. The other part is that if you want to be married, and you want a man who has a good work ethic, he knows how to build. Maybe you're in your late 20s, 30s, or 40s, and he's had a career. He's had to build his way with his career. Same thing goes with a man who is in pursuit of finding a wife. If he is looking for a wife, he is looking for a woman that he can build with. If he wants to build with you, that he needs to show that work ethic. He needs to show that he has the capacity to build with you and to pursue you. The next thing is how to know if a man will pursue you. Well, he's going to make the first move by asking you out on a date. You don't necessarily need to ask him on a date. All you need to do is position yourself to be found, position yourself to be asked by a man. So if you're having a conversation with a man by saying, what brings you here, or who do you know at this party or at this gathering? What are some of the things that you are interested in? And when you are able to authentically have a conversation with a man, it is such a refreshing it's a refreshing breath to have that. And so when it comes to a man and him being able to make the first move by asking your name, asking you out on the first date, asking you for your phone number if you feel comfortable, these are first entry level pursuit actions that a man will do, and you deserve it. Number two is that he will ask you, what are your plans for the week? And if he can see you again. So if you've been out on a first date and you are interested in going on the first date, you are interested in going on a date after the first date, he's going to ask you, even before the first date ends, hey, what are your plans for the week? And can I see you again? That is the gentleman thing to do. If he is pursuing you, you're not going to need to ask him, so when's the next time you're going to ask me out on a date? No, it's going to be automatic. He should be initiating himself, asking you out on a second, third, and fourth date. This is what a gentleman does. This is what a gentleman does in pursuit. And so the proof is in the pudding. The proof is in his words, his actions, and the consistency. And when you are a woman and you allow a man to pursue you, that with that work ethic and him showing up, you will know that he is a man who knows how to initiate. He is a man who wants to pursue, who wants a wife. And that could be you. So if he asks you, what are you doing for the rest of the week after your first date? And he invites you out on a second date, third date, fourth date, fifth date. These are clues that he's pursuing you. Number three is that he is going to be so consistent that it's going to surprise you. And you can have good feelings about it. You can feel reassured and you can feel like, you know what? I am totally enjoying this. This is so different than what I had experienced before. And when a man is able to catch you by surprise, listen, okay? Like it's just a beautiful thing. And I'm going to encourage you to open up your heart to enjoy a man pursuing you, a man treating you well. Give yourself permission to enjoy this type of dating experience. Okay? All right. So, three reasons why a man stops pursuing a woman. Number one, he could be playing the push pull game. So if he was consistent at first, calling you, texting you, taking you out on dates, and then all of a sudden he doesn't invite you on the fourth date, right? So you've been on a third date. He hasn't invited you out on the fourth date. And then another week goes by and he still hasn't invited you out, but then he is consistent with calling and texting you. Well, it could be that he is trying to test you to see if you'll ask him, so when are you going to take me out on another date? Or, when am I going to see you again? I believe that when a man is in pursuit, and from my own personal experience, when a man is in pursuit, that he does the initiating. It doesn't mean that you can't come up with ideas of where you can go out on a date or the things that you can do. You can give him ideas because he's going to want to know your feedback and the types of things that you want to do and the places that you want to go. Like he's going to ask you for your feedback, but as far as a man not inviting you out on a fourth date, but yet he's calling you, well, you could just be a placeholder. And so if he's trying to see what you're going to do and if you're going to act out of desperation, then he's going to try to push you away. But if you act out of desperation, he's going to try to suck you in and pull you back in. So if he goes from consistent to inconsistent, back to consistent, then he could be trying to play a game with you. So if he doesn't have like a family emergency or if a week goes by and he hasn't invited you out on that fourth date, something's up. And if you can discern that something's up, you don't necessarily have to do that. You don't have to deal with that. So when it comes to, how consistent should a man be? Well, I believe that you should be talking to a man every day or every other day if he's in full pursuit, and you should be able to go out on dates 1 to 2 times out the week. It just depends on your schedule, and it depends on how much does he want to pursue you. So, if he's playing the push pull game with you and he's not being consistent, well, you have your answer. And if you have your answer, you don't need to go digging or investigating him. Let a man's actions and words prove to you who he is and how much he wants to pursue you. You didn't do anything wrong. He may just feel like the two of you aren't compatible, and that's okay. If it's time for you to move on, move on. But you want a man that is so consistent where it feels good and you are pleasantly surprised that he's showing up so much. And you are showing up too. Number two is that he may not be emotionally mature enough for you. You may have been working on yourself, you've been healed by God, you have been transformed, and you've been putting in the personal development. If he sees that some of the things that he gets over on other women, it doesn't work on you, he's not emotionally mature enough for you. If he's not emotionally mature enough for you and you desire a husband material man who is emotionally mature for you, then it may be that you are not compatible with each other. So if he's not being consistent, if he's not pursuing you, and he's not emotionally mature, that means that he doesn't know your value. If you know your value, if you know your worth, if you know your dating standards, if you know the things you want to experience, if you are able to articulate who you are, what you are about, where you want to go, the things that God has in store for you, the things that you want in a husband material man, if you know these things, and if he hasn't been preparing, he's not emotionally mature enough for you. And that's okay. You have to give yourself permission to be okay if a man is not truly compatible with you. One of the things that I say in the Honey Love Dating Academy masterclasses every second and fourth Tuesday is I share with the ladies, hey, you want to be with a man who is compatible with you. You want to be with a man where it is compatibility over chemistry. So even though you're vibing, you have chemistry, he looks good on paper, like you want a man who is good for your today and for your tomorrow. You shouldn't feel like you need to settle for less. You should be able to date a man where you feel like you are able to build an authentic friendship with him. So if he's not emotionally mature for you, if he doesn't want to learn anything from you, he's not compatible, and that's okay. He can't pursue you because he senses that you have been doing the work and he hasn't been doing the work. And if he doesn't want to start doing the work, well, you can't make him. You can't change him. So you might as well go ahead and be comfortable enough to say, you know what? Like maybe we can just be friends, maybe we could just be acquaintances, or cut your ties sooner rather than later. Number three is that if a man isn't pursuing you the way that you believe he should be pursuing you, he's not looking for a wife. He is probably a relationship minded man. He's probably a casual dater, and there's nothing that you can do about that. So these are some of the things that you should think about. And if anything is in alignment as to what I shared with you, well, that can help you identify that. And I hope that it's brought you some type of closure, especially if you were truly into that type of man. So let's go ahead and continue moving on. So, what to do if a man is no longer pursuing you? Number one, know that God is protecting you. If a man isn't being consistent, God is protecting you. He knows something that you don't, and that's okay. Give yourself permission to be okay with God protecting you, God protecting your mind and your heart by not allowing you to entertain a man who is not your future husband. Number two is that I'm going to encourage you not to chase or pursue after a man. Let a man show you what he's working with. Let a man show you what he's capable of. Let a man show you what he wants to take responsibility for. Number three, pray and ask God to give you strength to move on. Sometimes it's difficult to move on, and that's okay. Ask God to give you the strength, ask God to give you the power to actually move on from the man that you felt like you were into when he was pursuing you, because right around the corner, God could actually be sending you your future husband. So create that space where you can welcome your future husband, forgive the man who did not pursue you the way that you wanted to be pursued, ask God for strength, and give yourself permission to grieve that relationship, move on, and welcome your future husband when that time actually comes. And then number four is you got to encourage yourself. You can't be down on yourself. You can't beat yourself up. You can't allow the inner critic to get the best of you, but you have to encourage yourself saying, my future husband, he's on the way. Greater is coming. I can continue to enjoy my singleness. I am an overcomer. I am victorious. Like, you have to really encourage yourself on this dating journey, right? So, the next thing that I want to encourage you and to give you some tools when you go out on a date to see if a man is actually willing to pursue you is have certain conversations. So, I'm going to give you a few questions to ask a man. And this is what I do as a dating coach is to help women date with strategy. You don't have to go with the flow. You don't have to date amiss, but you can actually date with a strategy. I help single women date with a strategy in our one on one coaching sessions, as well as in the Honey Love Dating Academy, where we meet with every second and fourth Tuesday live masterclasses. And if you want to join the Honey Love Dating Academy, you are able to do that by going to honeylovedatingacademy.com. So let's go ahead and get right into the dating questions. The first question I want to encourage you to ask a man is, are you a traditional or modern dater? If you are a traditional woman where you want to meet a man face to face, you want to go out on traditional dates, you want a man to pursue you, you don't want to be a modern dater by going with the flow, you want to actually, you know, have a man truly interested in you, like you want to date the traditional way. This is going to give you a clear indication who he is and what he represents. The second question I'm going to encourage you is to ask a man, what are three of your dating values? So, for example, if he's dating with a purpose and he's dating for marriage, he'll be able to share with you that dating with a purpose is one of his dating values. And so you can know the values that you already have and what would be in alignment. How would you know that he's compatible with you? So write down three dating values that you would expect, three dating characteristics that you would expect your future husband to respond with, right? And lastly, ask a man, if you were no longer into someone, would you tell them or ghost them? This will let you know if he's a stand up man, if he's a ghoster, or if he would communicate that. Every man who is in pursuit, every man who is marriage minded, he should be able to have difficult conversations even in the beginning. So within the first 30 days, a man should be able to answer these questions. So be prepared for what he's going to say. And I'm going to say this, if you ask number three and he changes, it could be because he's not ready for a woman like yourself. And that's okay. So give yourself permission to ask these in depth questions. Don't be a go with the flow type woman, especially if you're dating with a dating strategy. I'm giving you that dating strategy. And if you are wanting to be equipped and empowered, join the live Honey Love Dating Masterclasses by joining Honey Love Dating Academy.com, and you'll be pleasantly surprised that you're going to be given even more dating tools. And it's such an enjoyable experience. So, here are some of the things that you'll be able to do when it comes to joining Honey Love Live Dating Masterclasses. And those are avoid dating a man like your ex and level up with dating a marriage minded man. Another thing you'll be able to do is learn, what does a marriage minded man want? How does he think? And how should he be treating you? And another one is, I can teach you how to pick the right man. So if you have been previously picking the wrong man, I can show you how to pick the right man. So if you are interested in joining Honey Love Dating Academy live masterclasses every second and fourth Tuesday, I'm going to encourage you to go to the website now so you can get a jump start in 2025. And who knows, you can meet your future husband and you can go from dating relationship minded men to a marriage minded man who will pursue you and become your future husband, and he'll be able to ask you, will you marry me? And how is that going to feel to you? So, what are some of your takeaways when it comes to this video? And how are you going to apply it? Because I want to help you to position yourself as a wife, for you to understand why some things happen when a man is no longer pursuing you. And it is my goal to help you to get some closure so you don't feel stuck. So I hope that this masterclass has helped you to understand why a man stops pursuing you, to dust yourself off, to create the space within your heart and allow a future husband material man to pursue you. If you haven't joined the Honey Love Dating Academy YouTube channel, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. And I hope that you have an amazing day. And I'll talk to you soon. Take care.